Going on, boss?
Oh, brother.
Nothing much, nothing much, nothing much.
How's
Um,
your day going?
is that what?
How's your day going?
I woke up late, but I'm still getting a lot of stuff done.
Nice, bro.
How about you?
Dude, just chilling. Just went to the gym. Got me a couch off the Facebook Marketplace and studying a little bit. Just casual day.
Okay. What you still studying?
No, shoot, I'm doing tech challenge too. I'm just taking that one really slow.
Nice, nice. So you got the job and you still going through the program.
Yeah, I got to make sure I'm ready. I got like 3 weeks till I'm supposed to start if it goes on time, and want to make sure I'm in there like looking like a professional.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, the stuff in the program is really good stuff. So, um, I would say on the job description, if there's anything you don't, I mean, the same stuff I teach in the program, like just review the
Yeah,
stuff.
it's pretty similar to the program, the description.
The job description is similar to what's on what we teach.
Yeah, yeah. A
Okay.
lot of the stuff looked familiar, so that's why I was just studying the program because
Mhm.
description's pretty similar.
Okay. The program's what you need. All right. So, yeah, man, this is gonna just want to make this conversation as casual as possible.
Mhm.
Just ask you some questions, and it's just gonna just talk about your experience, different things about the program, and yeah, man, just go from there.
Okay.
All right, cool. So, just want to start this off by explaining who you are, and what you do.
All right. So I'm Stormy, and I pretty much 9 months ago I was kind of looking around for random jobs, and Teo kind of told me about IT. So I joined his program. He helped me get into IT help desk pretty quick while I was studying the AWS course, which takes a little bit longer. And right now I'm at help desk. Currently been doing that for about 8 months now, and I recently got an offer letter for a DevOps engineer role, which I'm going to start at the end of the month.
Okay, okay. And how long did it take you to complete the program? How long did it take you to get an offer letter? And then how much is the offer letter?
I think it took me probably like 7 or 8 months to complete the program. And then I threw my resumes up and then pretty much started getting incoming messages right away from LinkedIn. That pretty much resulted in 3 interviews. I didn't make it on the first 2 interviews, and then interview number three is the one I successfully made it. And that one is a hybrid role for a DevOps role, and that one's $110,000 salary.
Nice, nice. How do you feel about this everything?
I'm happy to see it. It's nice seeing things come into fruition, and that is real.
Okay.
Crazy moving up this quick.
Do you feel like you regret your investment to the program or like, just yeah.
I'd already paid itself off with the help desk alone, but now that I'm in starting at cloud at the end of the month, it's really gonna pay itself. It's already paid itself off, now it's just really gonna take me a lot farther.
Crazy profits, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. And then talk to us about like where you were before even help desk. Like, did you have any experience in IT about computers? Like, kind of where were you at? Any degrees, certifications?
Yeah, so pretty much I joined the military right out of high school, and I worked on the flight line, so pretty much doing electrical mechanical work. And then after I got out, after about I did 5 years there, and then I still kind of did hands-on work afterwards in the civilian world. And then I started getting into insurance sales, and never really had any experience with computers. I was never good with them, and I never went to college. I don't have any certifications. All I did was this program and just kind of followed the instructions, and it just took me down the right path to the end
Okay.
goal of getting that job.
Okay. So just to be clear, you don't have a degree or certifications, right?
Correct.
And you're still able to get a six-figure IT cloud engineer position, DevOps position, correct?
That's right.
And so, what would you have to say to the people that have that belief? Because there's a lot of people always hear, oh, you need a degree, or oh, you need a certifications to break into tech. What would you tell them, based off your experience? What would you tell those people?
I would say there's only going to be some interviewers that are going to be like strict about it, that really care about that stuff. I would say at least half or more really don't care, or it's such a small thing to them that it's not going to affect it. There's very few times where I think it can really actually make you look less favorable than other candidates. For the most part, the college and any kind of certs don't really weigh too heavy if you can just show up and know what you're talking about if you just sound competent. It's
Okay.
very rare that it's actually gonna slow you down.
Okay. And so, I say this all the time, but I wanted to come from your perspective since you've gone through the program. If you don't need certifications or degrees to be able to get a job, because that's what people think, and you don't have a degree or certification and you were still able to get a job, what do you think that people need to actually get a six-figure, you know, IT job?
Well, they can just take a program like this. I think what they need is just learning the basics, which you teach in there, which is the technical side of computer and networking. And then um, the other thing you need to have skills outside of IT, which is like making your resume look good and being able to talk on an interview because that's only half of it's technical. The other half is just you being able to go on there and do which is like the non-technical part, which is being able to take control of the interview, being able to sound good. And then the third skill is being able to attract job offers because you can sound good and have the technical computer knowledge, but finding a job can be like really crazy if you have no direction. And this program pretty much made it easy for me because um, both of the help desk jobs I had at first, they were incoming inbound leads, and then all three of these interviews, I didn't even apply to a single cloud one because I was so busy studying. But I went ahead and put up my resume while I was at the end of the course finishing, and um, I got three inbound interviews. So I didn't even apply for a single cloud job and ended up getting one.
Nice. Nice. So I want to emphasize this. You did not apply to a job. You utilized the system that we have here at the 1% University. You utilized the system and you had recruiters reaching out to you, correct?
That's correct.
And then you did not have a certification or degree, but you were still able to convert those leads, those recruiters setting up for interviews to be able to go on these interviews and you're able to get that offer letter without a degree or certification.
That's right.
I want to emphasize that because, I really want to kind of change the narrative of the IT industry, and it's because a lot of companies are trying to make money off of taking certs. But the reality is, CEOs, hiring managers, they're not prioritizing you getting a degree or certification. They really truly they want to be able to, if you can answer this one question, they feel confident on giving you an offer letter. Can you do the job? And Stormy, based off of what you've gone through in this program, how do you feel like you've been prepared to be able to answer that question? Like, can you do the job? When you get on these interviews, how can you actually, like, what are you doing? How do you showcase that you can do the job from this program? How did this program help you?
Um, Pretty much it gives you real world scenarios. It'll give you like a little backstory of, hey, this company needs to move their everything from their on-prem servers to the cloud. So it's kind of like it's giving you a little story so you understand why it would happen in a workplace. Then it gives you the basics of how you would actually go about it. And then after you go through these, they call them tech challenges program. Pretty much you have an understanding of why you're doing it. And then when the interview asks you, hey, name a time whenever you've had trouble during a migration, you can refer back to the projects you were working on. And um, that's pretty much all there is to it. The projects you do are what you're going to be doing on the job. So when interviewers ask you about it, you're already familiar with it.
Okay, nice. So, if what do you think if someone was watching this and they're like, I really want to break into tech, I'm willing to do the work. I feel like if I was to be in the same situation, be in the program, like, do you honestly, like, just be 100% authentic? Do you really feel like someone like that can go through this program and be successful? And if so, why? And if not, why too as well?
Shoot, I would say anyone that is willing to work hard can definitely get through it. Because I have no college education at all. I've always been really bad at school, you know. But one thing I do have is a hard work ethic, and getting into this program with no experience at all was pretty hard. But it took me about 9 months to successfully get the six-figure job, which that's much better than any kind of training route you can go anywhere else. Even if you're kind of like where you're just bad at school, bad with computers. you can still get through it. And then if you're just someone that catches on to things really quick, sorry, there's a bug on my face. uh,
Right.
shit, my bad. Yeah, if you're a person that can just really learn things fast and you're good with academics, then you're probably gonna finish it faster than I did. But
Okay.
if you're slow picking up these kind of things, you can do it. It just it'll happen eventually. You just gotta keep grinding it out.
Okay. Just be consistent eventually. And so why do you feel like why do you feel like if they go through this and if they be patient, they could be successful? Like what if like what would you say is like I want you to explain why someone would not be successful in this program.
I would say if they gave up, that's the reason why, because it is hard, but it's kind of like once you understand it, you're fine and you can use these tools on the job. You just got to learn it the first time. Um, some people I would assume would probably give up just because it can be a long journey. But as long as you don't give up, you are gonna make it to the end.
Okay. Okay. And so what do you how do you think like next 12 months is going to look like for you?
This is how I envision it. I'm gonna stay at this company for probably a good 3 to 4 months, just so I can get some hands-on experience outside of the projects I'm doing at the house. And then around that time, I'll put my resume back up. Or it's gonna stay up, but around 3 or 4 months, I want to try to get me a remote job, shooting for 130K or more, so that way I don't have to drive anymore because this one is going to be a hybrid role, but definitely is a good starting point. I'll definitely take this over help desk where I'm going to be making half the amount.
Okay.
But it's a step in the right direction. So I'm going to give them a good few months. I want to say at the end of the year, my goal is 2 to 3 remote positions.
Okay. And
Um,
how much money do you are you aiming for at the end of the year?
that's going to be around 500K because I'm shooting for 130 plus for each position.
Okay. And so like realistically, why do you feel like it's possible to make a $500,000?
Because with a lot of these roles, you're not actually working the full 8 hours. Um, you're just kind of I want to say if you already understand what you're doing, you're going to knock out any kind of problem that comes quick. And as I get more experience, I can knock out any kind of issues that arise. I'm really not going to be spending too much time on one specific job, so that's why I know I'll be able to get multiple jobs because it's not
Okay.
going to take the whole day like a normal job would. This is you're getting paid not necessarily for your time, but to keep the tools and services running.
Okay. So you're able to, okay, that makes sense. What do you, knowing what you know now, if you were to do it all over again, would you do it?
Yeah, I would definitely do it.
And why is that?
Because it's going to be the fastest return on your investment. Because there's not really too many other places, not even the stock market, where you can make a big return this quick. You
Okay. And
it's a
then like,
lifelong skill. So,
if I know honestly, so I know when I first told you about like tech. So just a side note, I met Stormi last year. Cool dude, and we started talking about tech. I started telling him about what I do, and he wasn't that interested because he was focused on something else. But if you were to tell your past self, like let's just say when you were focused on something else, what would you tell him?
I would have told him that I can get started because if I would have done that, I would be. I think from the time you told me about it till the time I actually joined was probably like 3 to 6 months or something. So I'd have already completed this journey a while ago. I
Okay.
guess I would have started sooner.
So if we look at the numbers, let's just estimate it. I think that's around like I'm gonna say $110,000 per year uh per month. And so I'm gonna see how much that is per month. So I'm just gonna summarize it after tax. I mean I'm gonna like just estimate it. So I know 130,000, $135,000 is 7,600 averagely per month after tax in the state of Maryland. And so I'm shooting for 7,000. And
Yeah.
so look at 7,000 and I'm going to do it for 3 months and then 6 months. So 3 months, that would have been 21,000. And then 6 months, 7,000. So anywhere from 21,000 to $42,000 could have been in your bank account right now if you had told yourself earlier, hey, focus on this, correct?
Yeah, that's right.
And it's still fine because you have it now and another year didn't go by, you try to figure this out or, do something else. But now, and so even now, do you feel like you have the skill for the rest of your life to be able to make six figures?
Absolutely.
And so you actually got a job with one of the people say it's one of the hardest times to get a job in tech
Shoot.
because of the market, and you didn't even apply.
Yeah.
So you were able to get a job. So how do you feel as though like job security based on having this skill? Do you feel like if anything was to happen, you can still get another job?
Yeah, I'd definitely say that. The
Why?
statistics is not just with job interviews, but also anyone that's familiar with sales. You're going to close 1 out of 3 appointments. Well, this was the third one, and before I even talked to a single person, I was thinking about the rule of three, and I was like, well, this is the third one, so I'm probably going to get it. So I ended up getting
Okay.
it. And I got I want to say it was about once a week a solid, legit recruiter was reaching out to me. So it was like 3 weeks in a row doing interviews with different companies. Pretty much on the third week after putting on my resume, maybe third or fourth week. That was the one I ended up landing.
Nice. So you have the system to be able to attract recruiters, and then you have the skill set to be able to articulate yourself based off the projects and experience that we taught you at the program to be able to get these offer letters, correct?
Correct. Yeah.
And you can, if you want to get a second job, third job, and scale, you can do that as well, correct?
Yeah.
How confident out of this, from 1 to 100%, how confident are you?
I want to say 100%.
Okay. And what was your favorite part of the program?
Shoot. I want to say I'd say the projects and the tech challenges because I learn best by actually doing the work. I've always been it's always been hard for me to learn just by, I guess, watching someone else do something on a video. I don't really stick until I'm the one in the driver's seat doing it. So I'd say that because it's real world stuff you do on the project is exactly what you're going to do on the job. So it's like you're already working kind of.
Okay. Okay. Exactly. That was my intention on building this.
Yeah.
And so, what would you tell someone who wants to try and do this? Like, oh, I can do this for free. I can do this on my own. YouTube videos, just stuff out there. What would you tell them?
I would say if you want to do it for free, it definitely is possible. But the thing is, this is kind of like you have real people holding you accountable, and then also anytime you're stuck, they can. It's kind of like having a parent and telling you, "Hey, you got to do this," or "Here, you got to do these steps on your resume." It's kind of like having someone watch over you, kind of holding your hand. It pretty much the thing you're paying for is just being able to get the end result, which is the job, much faster. If you do it on your own, it'll likely take a lot more because you kind of need someone to guide you. It's a little bit of a hard thing to do.
Okay. And so, do you feel like we guided you step by step, like clear today, in terms of what to study, what to specifically focus on? Because there's a lot of stuff out there. And then also, you can learn this for free, right? But the problem is there's a bunch of information out there. Do you feel like it was like straight to the point, step by step? If you got stuck, we got you unstuck, or we show you how to get unstuck. You do that yourself. Do you feel like that was the case for this program?
Yeah, that's the case. I feel like if you do it without a program, um, you're probably gonna try to learn too much stuff. This program, I feel like it just keeps it at the meat and potatoes, and it just shows you exactly what you need. You
Okay.
really don't
And
need
so,
to learn everything about IT. You just need to know your specific job title.
okay. And so it took you 9 months. If you had tried to do this by yourself, how long do you think it would have took you?
Shoot, I don't know if I would have made it. Not gonna lie, this stuff is pretty hard. So you
Yeah.
kind of need a direction. You need a map to follow.
Okay. Do you feel like you would have gave up?
Um, probably because like you got to really have someone tell you tell you the step by step directions on how to get there. You can't just randomly walk into a 6 figure job.
Okay. And go ahead.
It's a hard thing, so you kind of need someone that's already been there to kind of tell you.
Okay. And this is something I always talk about. Where you put your money is where you put your attention. Seeing you invest your money, right, into a program, do you feel like, you know, do you feel like it was more beneficial for you to pay someone And when you pay, you're like, okay, let me pay attention, right? Because it's your money. Do you feel like it was more beneficial for you to pay someone to teach you the skill set to get the offer letter of what you have right now? Or do you think it's more beneficial to save the money that you have, or even if you don't have any money, like let's just say, you don't want to, let me keep it this very simple. Do you feel like it's more beneficial to pay for a program that works? And it doesn't have to be this program, it could be any other program. Do you feel like it's more beneficial to pay someone to get here faster, right? It sucks because you're paying money, but the good thing is you're actually going to pay attention because you actually invested into it, as opposed to not investing, going the free route, learning it for free off of YouTube, and maybe it take a little bit longer, or maybe you won't even finish because you have nothing invested into it. You don't have a reason to complete it.
Yeah.
So, what would you say? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, so I'd say it's more expensive to do it the free route because you're gonna miss out on so much money. Because even if you do complete it, um, just paying someone to get there faster, you're gonna make up your investment really quick. So you're actually going the free route is gonna cost you a lot.
Okay, it's what people think that's it's the opposite. So, going the free route, you're actually going to pay more in opportunity cost because the money that you could have had, you don't have that. And then also the likelihood of you actually completing it decreases, correct?
Yeah, correct.
So paying someone that has the result of what you want, and literally I was a cloud engineer when you first met me, I still am, but now you're a cloud engineer, DevOps engineer. And so paying a program to get there faster and you increase the likelihood of actually completing it because you paid, you want to get your investment back. You feel like that's more beneficial, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Just because doing it on your own takes a long time, and you don't want to be stuck making under six figures for a long time. If you're able to make six figures fast, and someone told you, hey, you just gotta follow these directions, and we'll get you there in a few months, it's always gonna beat doing it the long way. Because the sooner you make six figures, the you're just gonna make more money
Okay.
or miss out on the money.
Okay. And so what would you tell someone, like, what would you tell your past self? Let's say your past self is skeptical. Let's say they're scared. Let's say they've never invested. And it's like, they're watching this video. You see you, someone has gone through the program successful, this version of you. What would you tell them or your past self right now if they're like on the fence of joining or on the fence of investing? It doesn't have to be this program, it could be any other one, but just investing. What would you tell them who's considering joining a program?
Sure, there's this old saying, "Scared money don't make money," and pretty much, if you're too scared to take this risk, then what risk are you going to take? Like, you don't want to, if you're, looking into this program, you're obviously looking to make a change. If you don't want to take a risk here, you're probably not going to take a risk anywhere else. So
Hmm.
at some point, you got to take that risk, whether it's with this program or something different. And if you don't take the risk, you're just going to be stuck where you're at. So regretting
Okay.
it. So you definitely don't want to spend too much time thinking. You want to take action. You don't get anywhere thinking all day. So
Excuse me. And when I tell people, it's like even before you invest into any program, what I do is I look for, is there a step-by-step blueprint that someone has gone through to be successful? And if there's a blueprint, that's one check. And then the other check is, has there been at least three people that's gone through this step-by-step blueprint and been successful? And if those two checkboxes are complete, that's what I use as a criteria for me to invest. Because if there's a step-by-step blueprint and other people have gone through it, three people, I know for a fact I can be the fourth, right? It's just social proof. And so, do you feel, and I want to ask this question again, do you feel like there is a step-by-step blueprint and a clear way? Hey, if you do this, you get this. Like it's step by step. Do you feel like this program is step by step? Do you feel like there's a blueprint for anyone who doesn't even know anything about tech to go through this and be successful?
absolutely. So the thing about the course is it's go at your own pace. So if you're just a rock star, you could really grind it out within a few months if you wanted to. But if you're kind of like me, where you pick up things really slow, um, you're still going to get it. And it's kind of set up to where you could complete the whole course without asking a single question. But then if you do need help, you got a few mentors that are there to help you. So you could completely do the whole thing without a mentor, to be honest, because the way y'all set it up.
Okay. And what about the support, like the client success manager, the calls, the coaching calls? Like how did that talk about that?
Shoot. So anytime you're stuck on any of the projects or homework assignments, You just throw a question in the chat, and then one of you guys will respond, or even another student, which that's definitely very helpful. And then whenever they respond, they don't just tell you the answer because they're making it kind of like you're at the job. They kind of train you, hey, if you're gonna ask a question, tell me exactly what the problem is, so that way you actually understand what you're trying to do. And then you have to give them 3 steps that you've tried and the result of those steps. And a lot of times you kind of figure it out on your own, which that's kind of what you need to be ready for on the job because they're paying you 6 figures because they know you're someone that can figure it out even if you don't know it. And then if you are going to ask, say, like your boss a question in real life, they're going to kind of respect you more if you show that, hey, you already tried these few things.
Hmm.
That helps you. It just gets you in the right mindset. It's not just teaching you the technical stuff, but it's getting you in that mindset of you can overcome any kind of technical challenge.
Nice. Do you feel like someone could, that's, obvious to learn on your own? Or do you feel like, it just helps a lot to be able to, someone to tell you or give you this framework and other things in the program too as well, but just specifically the troubleshooting aspect in terms of how to actually ask questions.
Yeah, so this program is good on not just teaching you the technical side, but also just, I guess, teaching you mindset and troubleshooting theory. One thing this program definitely got me good at is just being able to, I guess, anytime you run into a technical problem, being able to research it on your own. Because if you can figure out things on your own and be independent, you're gonna be able to pretty much get paid more. That's how it's gonna result in the end.
Okay. Um, and so can you give one piece of hard tactical advice to anyone who's listening that may be looking for a leg up?
Shoot, I would say use AI. I
Mhm.
use ChatGPT. That's my go-to.
Okay. Um, and then do you think it was beneficial for like one last thing I want to talk about is just one couple of the features of the program, like the weekly check-ins. Do you feel like that was useful? And can you kind of talk about that?
Yeah, I think it's useful. So pretty much the weekly check-ins is kind of like one of the mentors holding you accountable, and you pretty much just have to tell them, hey, I'm going to work on this part of the course, say like Tech Challenge 2. I'm going to do it for 60 minutes a night, 2 hours a minute, oh, 2 hours a night, whatever you decide on. And they're kind of there. It's kind of like someone watching you and making sure you're progressing through the course because it can be a hard course and you don't want anyone getting stuck. So it's kind of like someone there holding you accountable so you don't give up. It's kind of like someone guiding you all the way to the end.
And so if someone was to invest and they were serious about making a change in their lives, can you confidently, from your experience, can you confidently say like, they would be successful, they can get the skill set to be able to get the offer letter, and start making 6 figures, a decent amount of money quicker than if they were to do it on their own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just
Okay.
because it's just someone telling you what to do. Kind of all you got to do is listen. And if you like money, you definitely want to listen when you're in the course. It's like, do you want more money or less money?
I appreciate it. And yeah, so I know we talked about the 1% University and the different courses in the program, but um, and like I said, you have access to that in terms of everything that we have to offer. Achieving financial freedom, making your first $1 million. You don't have to talk about it too much, but um, the next part of your journey, your process to be able to reach financial freedom, do you feel like you can actually achieve that based on what we provide here at the 1% University?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Just because it's kind of one thing to look the stuff up on the internet or watch motivational videos, but it's another thing to be in direct contact with people that have kind of already done it.
Okay, nice, nice. Is there absolutely anything else you want to say to anyone watching this, or just it can be no, it can be yes, it could be anything that you could think of?
I'd say if you're on the fence, just go ahead and do it because if you're just gonna sit around and think all day, you're not gonna get any more money just sitting around doing nothing. You got to take some action. So go ahead
And
and
so,
sign up for the course.
what if they're afraid? They're like, if I pay this money, I'm afraid that this money I'm not going to get a return on my investment. What would you say to them?
I would say whether you're successful or not is if you can just sit down even for something small like an hour a day. As long as you can just set aside 1 hour a evening, you're gonna finish it within a few months.
So what if they say, even if I put an hour a day and I'm still afraid that I pay this money and I don't get the results, what would you tell them?
I would say, do you want more money or less money?
No, so let's say, yeah, they put in the work, but they're still afraid, oh, if I put in the work, I still don't get the results. Like, do you feel like that's a thing?
No, because if you put in the work and you kind of make the skill a part of you, it is gonna work. It's just a matter of time till you land an offer letter.
Okay. So what they need, right, is the investment and them to put in the work to get the skill, correct?
Yeah,
And once they get the skill with time, they get the offer letter, just like you. That's what you did, correct?
that's right. Yeah.
So there really isn't anything they should be afraid of in terms of actually investing. Like honestly speaking, I just from your experience and from your perspective.
Yeah, I'd say there's really not much risk to this course because you're gonna get it because pretty much with me it probably took me 8 months to finish the technical part of the course. And then I want to say after I put up my new updated cloud resume, within a month I got an offer letter. I'd say that's about the time frame. So in
Yeah.
theory, if you just went ahead and skipped to the end and put up that resume, if you wanted to grind it out and have that pressure on you, you could probably do it a lot faster than I did.
And you were like completely new to tech, so like there was a learning curve for you. Um, we have I don't know if you know the fastest person who completed this. Do you know?
Is it Greg?
Yeah, yeah. Do you know when he actually completed the learning process?
No, you have to tell me.
Yeah, he finished it in 10 days.
Oh shoot.
But he already had experience in tech. He was a cloud security engineer, which is a little
Mhm.
bit but no, so he already had experience. He was already in tech. The learning curve wasn't as steep, but he was able to still complete it in 10 days and get his first offer letter in a month and 21 days. And then he scaled to, he got 5 offer letters within 2.5 months from starting the program. So I'm only saying that because that is the best student I've ever got. I think the offer letters, it's like 600, $700,000 in offer letters. And then also I want to showcase him because he has experience. He was already in the field. He was already making $140,000. And then showcase you, right? Someone who doesn't have any experience, and typically how long it took for you, which is like around 8 to 9 months or 9 months. Okay, so depending on your experience, depending on your knowledge in tech, it can vary, and depending on how you are. If you're a quick learner or a little bit slower, there's different factors that come into play in terms of how long it'll take you to see success. But at the end of the day, Stormy, do you feel like people who take this serious, they're still going to see success regardless?
Yeah, I agree because I'm definitely more on the slower side of learning and um it's guaranteed. I want to say at least for me, it's guaranteed that I was going to make it because I knew I wasn't going to give up. The only way you won't make it is, I guess, if you give up, even if you're kind of on the slower side of learning like me. So
Yes, sir.
the only way you're not going to make it is if you quit. So just don't quit.
I say the sad time. Literally, the only way that's with anything in life, drop shipping, day trading, absolutely anything. Like the only way you will not see success, like, is if you give up. I know people that have done one thing for 8 years. It took them 8 years to be successful, right? And they just didn't give up, and now they're making a decent amount
Mhm.
of money. So I'm glad you said that because that's one of the things I always talk about, and that's how you see success. And so, based on a lot of things that you see out there, you got this skill, you got the job in 9 months. You feel like this is like a really good, return on your investment in the time that you actually, you know, receive the money, receive the return on your investment, receive what you paid for. You feel like it's a good, time based off of what you paid and everything.
Yeah, that's definitely this is definitely the best investment I ever made just because you just invest one time and then you get a skill that you're going to use forever. Because once
Nice.
you start working in this kind of work, you're gonna be crazy to switch into something
So you
else.
got your money back, but
Yeah.
you already made your investment back, and then now everything is just straight profit, and now you have the skill set for the rest of your life to even make more money.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm never gonna switch out of this. I like it.
So it's a no-brainer.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. No, that's pretty much it. Just wanted to have a casual conversation and kind of talk about your experience and yeah, this is a really good, really good convo. So thank you for joining. Thank you for everything. And this is just the start, right? We're still going to teach you how to, achieve financial freedom, how to retire your 9 to 5, within the 1% university, going through freshman year through senior year. And the capstone at the end is going to show you how to make your first $1 million net worth. As long as it's a bonus within the program, if you do want it, it's available. We'll give you different tools and information to be able to achieve that. But at the end of the day, it's just if you want it, it's step by step, and uh, what you just achieved is really step number 2 completed. And so next is junior year and senior year to be able to achieve financial freedom.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. That's crazy. I'm only on step 2. I'm already at step 3.
Yes, that's the hardest part.
Still at the beginning.
Getting a high income skill is the hardest part, but now you
Yeah.
have now let's just be able to use your money to make money for you so you can make money in your sleep and achieve financial freedom. So yeah, man. That's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you for your time today.
Thank you. Talk soon.